Canals stretch for hundreds of miles, winding through landscapes and showing incredible feats of engineering. Today we're going to count down the top 15 longest canals in the world. Let's start with number 15, the New York State Canal System. The New York State Canal System is one of the longest and most historically significant systems in the world. It spans 524 miles as it winds its way through upstate New York, connecting the Hudson River to Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Champlain, and the Finger Lakes. Originally, it was constructed in the 19th century to facilitate trade and transportation. This canal system played a crucial role in the economic expansion of New York and the United States as a whole. The Erie Canal is the longest and most well-known segment of the system, stretching about 338 miles from Albany to Buffalo. It connects the Hudson River with Lake Erie, allowing boats to travel between the Atlantic Ocean and the Great Lakes. The Champlain Canal, at 63 miles long, links the Hudson River to Lake Champlain, providing a navigable route to Canada. The Oswego Canal runs 23 miles from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario along the Oswego River, creating a critical connection to the St. Lawrence Seaway. The Cayuga-Seneca Canal, spanning 92 miles, links the Erie Canal to Seneca and Cayuga Lakes, two of the largest Finger Lakes. When the Erie Canal first opened in 1825, it dramatically reduced transportation costs, and it helped to turn New York City into a major trade hub. However, by the mid-20th century, railroads and highways had largely replaced canals as the primary means of transporting goods. And while some cargo still moves through the system, most of its traffic today consists of recreational boats, tour boats, and hire boats. Number 14, the St. Lawrence Seaway. The St. Lawrence Seaway is one of the longest canal systems in the world, stretching from Montreal, Quebec to Lake Erie. It allows ocean-going vessels to penetrate deep into North America, connecting the Atlantic to the Great Lakes and reaching as far inland as Duluth, Minnesota. This vast waterway system plays a role in commercial shipping, linking industrial centers in the U.S. and Canada to global trade routes. The Seaway includes 15 locks, 5 of which are managed by the U.S. and 10 by Canada. Now, these locks accommodate ships up to 740 feet long, 78 feet wide, and about 26.5 feet deep. That's known as the Seaway Max Standard. One critical component of this system is the Welland Canal, which bypasses Niagara Falls and it connects Lake Ontario to Lake Erie. Since its opening in 1959, the Seaway has been a trade corridor for North America. It facilitates the movements of raw materials, including iron ore, coal, and grain, between major ports. Each year, it handles about 40 to 50 million tons of cargo, with about half of it moving to and from international markets in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. The whole St. Lawrence Seaway spans about 2,340 miles from the Atlantic to the farthest inland port it serves in Duluth, Minnesota. To put its length into perspective, this seaway, if it were stretched out in a straight line, would be roughly the same distance as driving from New York to Las Vegas. Number 13, the Grand Western Canal. Stretching across the English counties of Somerset and Devon, and it was originally designed to serve as a link between the Bristol Channel and the English Channel. The vision for this waterway dates back to 1796. Though the canal was never fully completed as planned, portions of it remain in use today, preserving its legacy as one of the longest in the world. Measuring 234 miles in its original total, but about 11 miles in its remaining navigable section, the Grand Western Canal is dwarfed by major international waterways, but in its own right it stands as a symbol of early 19th century canal engineering. The construction of it was carried out in 2 primary phases. The first, completed in 1814, established a level stretch from Tiverton to Lodwells, designed to accommodate broad-beam barges capable of carrying up to 40 tons of cargo. The second phase, opened in 1839, extended into Somerset and was built to support smaller tub boats, each measuring around 20 feet long and capable of carrying about 8 tons. The purpose of the canal extended beyond simple transportation. It was a lifeline for the movement of limestone and coal, critical materials used in the production of quicklime, which was essential for both agriculture and construction. However, by the mid-19th century, the rapid expansion of the railway network rendered many canals, including the Grand Western, obsolete. By 1867, the Somerset section was abandoned, and the remaining portions of the canal began a slow decline. Unlike grand engineering projects like the St. Lawrence Seaway, the Grand Western Canal tells a quieter story. Number 12. The Paranatíete waterway. The Tietê River, located in the Brazilian state of São Paulo, is one of the most significant waterways in South America. Its name is derived from the Tupi language, translates to truthful river or truthful waters. While its course runs entirely within the state, its importance extends far beyond regional borders. Stretching approximately 280 miles, the Tietê River is a vital component of the Tietê-Parana waterway, which extends an incredible 1,500 miles. The Tietê River's navigability is made possible through an extensive system of dams and locks. Now, these structures allow barges to transport goods efficiently, reducing reliance on roads and cutting transportation costs. Barges traveling along this waterway move an estimated 2 million tons of cargo annually, including grains, sand, gravel, and sugarcane. One of Brazil's first hydroelectric power stations was constructed along the Tietê in 1912. Though small by modern standards, it marked an important step in Brazil's energy infrastructure, and it paved the way for future developments. But beyond commerce and industry, the Tietê River also plays a role in tourism. The city of Barra Bonita, located along its course, has embraced the river as a centerpiece of recreation. River cruises, fishing, and leisure boating attract visitors, highlighting the Tietê's potential beyond its economic function. Number 11. The Baltic White Sea Canal. The Baltic White Sea Canal, or Belomor Canal, is a man-made waterway in Russia that runs a remarkable 141 miles, connecting the White Sea to Lake Onega. This engineering feat officially opened on August 2, 1933, and it plays a role in transporting goods and materials, though it's a unique blend of history, function, and colossal scale. But what really makes this canal stand out isn't just the length, but its role in regional navigation. The canal itself is a system that includes both man-made sections and natural waterways. It begins near Povednets, a settlement by Lake Onega, and flows through various lakes. The canal includes 19 locks, which help manage the elevation differences as it rises to a summit of about 330 feet. It ends at Belomorsk, where it pours into the White Sea, providing a route that bypasses the path around the northern part of the Kola Peninsula. It was designed to shorten distances for ships moving between the White Sea and the Baltic. However, due to the shallow depth of just about 11.5 feet, the canal was really never able to support large, deep-draft vessels. Instead, it handles mostly river craft and lighter cargo ships, transporting goods like industrial equipment, raw materials, and bulk goods. Some of the locks form a particularly unique section known as the Stairs of Povednets, which consist of 7 locks in close proximity. This steep ascent is necessary to climb the canal's summit, which is perched about 330 feet. These locks, along with a curving, navigable channel, create the distinctive profile of the canal, and the channel itself is about 118 feet wide and can be navigated at speeds of about 5 miles an hour. At its peak during the mid-20th century, over 7 million tons of cargo passed through, and it was a critical lifeline during the Soviet-era industrialization efforts. Number 10. The Rhône-Rhine Canal. The Rhône-Rhine Canal is a waterway in France connecting 2 of Europe's most well-known rivers, the Rhône and the Rhine. It spans an impressive 237 miles, and the canal bridges the gap between the Mediterranean and northern Europe, making it an essential part of the continent's water transport network. The main southern branch stretches a solid 139 miles. Now, this is where the canal intersects with northern sections, which are a bit shorter but no less important. The northern branch connects Mulhouse to Strasbourg, covering 83 miles. But in modern times, significant upgrades have been made to improve the canal's capacity. However, some sections have been abandoned, like some of the northern part of the canal, which now serves as a whitewater canoeing course rather than a commercial shipping route. The canal essentially serves as the connective tissue between the Mediterranean Sea and the North Sea, allowing goods to travel from southern France all the way up to northern Europe, whether it's industrial goods or agricultural exports. Back when it was first constructed in the early 1800s, this canal was a significant achievement, linking regions that had been previously disconnected. However, in modern times, its use for commercial traffic has dwindled significantly. Today, the canal is mostly used for recreation, like boating and cycling, and it's been seeing a rise in tourism, offering a scenic way to explore the French countryside. Number 9. The Suez Canal. Alright, the Suez Canal. It's located in Egypt and it's one of the most important waterways in the world. It stretches 120 miles from the Mediterranean Sea in the north to the Red Sea in the south. This canal serves as a crucial link between Europe and Asia. It connects those two seas through the Isthmus of Suez, splitting the African continent from the Asian landmass. Now, the Suez Canal was the brainchild of French diplomat Ferdinand de Lesseps, who formed the Compagnie de Suez in 1858 to construct it. Now, it began in 1859 and was completed by 1869, with the canal officially opening on November 17th of that year. At the time of its opening, it offered a direct and significantly shorter route between the North Atlantic and Northern Indian Ocean, reducing travel time between London and the Arabian Sea by about 5,500 miles. By bypassing the long detour around the Cape of Good Hope, it shortens transit times and reduces shipping costs. With a length of 120 miles, this canal ranks among the longest in the world. To handle the growing demands of global trade, the canal has undergone multiple expansions. Originally, it was 102 miles long and 26 feet deep. Today, it stretches 120 miles, with depths reaching up to 79 feet and a width of about 67.3 feet at its narrowest point. A new parallel canal, known as the New Suez Canal, was added in 2015. That stretches over 22 miles and it boosts the canal's capacity even further. The canal's Suez Max dimensions can handle ships up to 66 feet in draft, up to 240,000 tons of deadweight cargo. This makes it capable of accommodating a vast array of vessels, including massive oil tankers and container ships, and the canal can handle approximately 8% of global sea trade, which speaks volumes about its significance. Number 8. Grand Union Canal. The Grand Union Canal is one of the longest and most fascinating waterways in England, stretching from London to Birmingham, offering a tangible slice of British history and engineering. It's not just a canal, it is a journey through time, connecting the industrial heartland with the capital, while also offering glimpses of the country's natural beauty. It runs about 137 miles from London through the rolling English countryside to the city of Birmingham, and it's a principal navigable waterway between the two, and along its route, it includes a variety of short branches, including those to places like Leicester, Aylesbury, and Northampton. Spanning through 166 locks, it offers boaters and walkers a chance to explore a long-forgotten way of life that once served as a lifeline for trade and commerce. The impressive length of it has allowed the canal to serve an enormous range of purposes throughout its history. It was built in the early 19th century to provide an alternative to the busy roads and railways of the day. The canal made it easier to move goods like coal, grain, and textiles between London and the Midlands. In its prime, it was the artery that kept much of the economy flowing, transporting everything from heavy freight to lighter goods that kept the cities humming. But what sets it apart is the network of locks. These locks were designed to overcome the changes in elevation along the canal's route, and there are 166 of them in total. Some of the most famous locks are near places like Braunston and Hatton, where the canal dramatically rises and falls across the landscape. These locks are not just functional features, but they are fascinating parts of the canal's character. They're steeped in history and are still very much in use today, assisting the passage of pleasure boats and private barges, as well as offering a quaint activity for those who love to watch boats slowly and methodically rise and fall. Number 7. Indira Gandhi Canal. The Indira Gandhi Canal, formerly known as the Rajasthan Canal, stands as one of the longest and important canals. It stretches for over 277 miles, transforming the landscape of the Thar Desert in Rajasthan to a productive agricultural zone. It's the longest canal in India, and its role in providing irrigation to vast areas in one of the country's most arid regions makes it a key infrastructure project. The canal's purpose is simple yet significant: to provide water to areas that would otherwise be inhospitable for farming. By linking the fertile lands of Punjab with the arid stretches of Rajasthan, this canal has brought irrigation to lands that had previously been barren, allowing crops like wheat, mustard, and cotton to flourish. The main canal is a massive structure, 140 feet wide at the top, narrowing to about 116 feet at the bottom, and with a water depth of 21 feet in some sections. And in addition to the main canal, there's a vast network of feeder canals and distributaries that extend the reach of the system, creating an irrigation network that spans over 5,700 miles. The whole irrigation network covers vast areas of land, much of it desert, and before the canal brought water to those areas. The results have been remarkable. Lands that once saw little agricultural activity now grow crops and sustain livelihoods. In addition to its size and importance as a system, the Indira Gandhi Canal also represents a key piece of infrastructure in their water management strategy. It contributes significantly to the agriculture of Rajasthan and provides a vital source to the millions of people who depend on the water there. Its journey across the desert, from the Harike Barrage to the fields of Rajasthan, is an example of the vision of those who sought to bring life to one of the world's most arid regions. Number 6. The Erie Canal. The Erie Canal is one of the most iconic waterways in the United States. It's located in upstate New York. It stretches from the Hudson River in the east to Lake Erie in the west, making it an important link between the Atlantic Ocean and the Great Lakes. Completed in 1825, the canal was not just a remarkable feat, but it was also a critical driver of the economy. It quickly became known as the nation's first superhighway for its role in reducing transportation costs and opening up vast regions to settlement. The canal is 363 miles long, or about 351 miles if you count the modern barge canal that replaced much of the original route in the 20th century. And while it may seem hard to comprehend just how far that stretches, if you consider this: if you were to drive from New York City to the Canadian border at Niagara Falls, you'd cover about the same distance. Now imagine this whole stretch not as a paved highway, but a flowing waterway that allowed boats to travel from one of the busiest ports in the world to the heart of America's growing Midwest. Before its completion, though, moving goods overland was incredibly expensive and slow. This canal revolutionized it, making it possible to transport goods like grain, timber, and coal far more cheaply and efficiently. The canal itself was initially about 40 feet wide and 4 feet deep, not much more than a narrow ditch in some areas. However, the expansion in the 20th century, particularly through the construction of the barge canal, transformed it into a more robust waterway. The barge canal is now 120 feet wide and 12 feet deep, making it navigable by larger vessels, and it includes 34 locks, including the famous Waterford Flight, which contains the steepest locks in the country. The lock system is a vital part of the canal's operation, and it helps boats navigate the elevation change of about 560 feet between the Hudson River and Lake Erie. But beyond the practical uses, the Erie Canal also is a unique place in American culture and history. It's long inspired songs and stories and even entire industries. One of the most famous songs to come out of the canal's history, "Low Bridge Everybody Down," memorializes the heyday of when the canal mules were used to pull barges. It was also featured in the works of great authors like Herman Melville and Nathaniel Hawthorne, who chronicled life along the waterway. Number 5. The Eurasia Canal. The Eurasia Canal is a proposed waterway that could dramatically alter shipping routes across portions of the Eastern Europe and Central Asia area. If completed, this canal would stretch a remarkable 430 miles, second only to China's Grand Canal. This very large project is going to aim to facilitate the transportation of goods by providing a shorter shipping route than the existing Volga-Don Canal. It's designed to reduce the needs for numerous locks. It's an advantage for shipping efficiency itself. The existing Volga-Don system requires multiple locks that can slow down the transit of larger vessels. Beyond the length, though, the Eurasia Canal would be a feat of modern engineering. It promises to be more efficient with fewer obstacles for ships to navigate, and the construction will require the development of new several locks, including 3 to 4 low-rise docks on the western side and potentially 6 low-rise docks on the eastern. The design would help overcome the natural rise in elevation across the region, which varies from about 90 feet above the Sea of Azov to 180 feet above the Caspian Sea. It would provide a vital connection between landlocked Central Asian nations and the global marketplace through access to the Bosphorus Strait. Not only would it serve as a shortcut between the Caspian and Black Seas, it would also bolster the region's economy and commercial viability by providing easier access to international ports. Though the project is still in the proposal stage, it's clear that the Eurasia Canal has the potential to become a transformative development, with a length that places it among the longest in the world and the ability to connect regions that are currently cut off. It promises to play a key role in shaping the future of Eurasian trade. Number 4. The Göta Canal. The Göta Canal stretches across southern Sweden for 120 miles. It's part of a larger 240-mile waterway that connects the Baltic Sea to the west coast of Sweden, providing a route between Gothenburg and Söderköping. While often mistaken as a singular system, the Göta Canal is distinct from the Trollhätte Canal, which forms Sweden's famed Blue Ribbon waterway. It was constructed in the early 19th century. It was an ambitious project designed to facilitate trade and transportation. The idea of cutting a passage through Sweden to bypass the Danish-controlled Øresund Strait had been proposed as early as 1516, but it wasn't until the 1800s that the plan was put into action. The canal was carved through the Swedish landscape over 22 years by more than 58,000 workers, and of the 120-mile length, 54 miles were manually dug or blasted through rock, making it one of the most labor-intensive engineering feats in Sweden's history. The Göta Canal varies in width from about 23 feet to 46 feet and reaches depths of about 10 feet, allowing it to accommodate small to medium-sized vessels. A speed limit of 5 knots ensures a leisurely journey for boats, and the route is punctuated by 58 locks, allowing boats to ascend and descend. But the arrival of rail in 1855 quickly reduced the canal's importance for cargo shipments, and by the late 19th century its use was primarily limited to the transport of bulk goods like timber, coal, and ore. Today, the Göta Canal is one of Sweden's most popular recreational waterways. Pleasure cruises, private boats, guided tours, they all offer visitors opportunities to travel its full length, passing through rolling countryside, small villages, and historic locks. For those navigating on their own, the canal has earned a humorous nickname, the divorce ditch, due to the challenges inexperienced couples face while steering through its narrow passages. But beyond its role as a tourist destination, the canal has left a lasting industrial legacy. The Motala-Verkstad, a manufacturing facility established to produce machinery for the canal's construction, went on to become a cornerstone of Sweden's engineering industry. But while the Göta Canal never became the economic powerhouse its creators intended, its historical significance and appeal make it one of Sweden's greatest achievements. More than just a waterway, it serves as a living link to the past, offering visitors a journey through both Swedish history and some of its most amazing landscape. Number 3. Illinois Waterway. The Illinois Waterway is one of the longest and most significant canal systems, stretching 336 miles from the mouth of the Calumet River in Chicago to the confluence of Illinois and Mississippi rivers at Grafton, Illinois. It's a system of interconnected rivers, lakes, and canals that allows commercial vessels and recreational boats to navigate between two of the largest water systems in North America. The waterway is controlled by a series of 8 locks and dams, managed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, ensuring a depth of about 9 feet throughout its length. At 336 miles, it is longer than the distance between New York City and Washington, D.C. And the history of the waterway dates back to the early explorers who recognized the potential of a direct route linking the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River. French-Canadian explorer Louis Joliet first proposed the idea of a canal in the late 1600s. However, it wasn't until the 19th century that that vision became a reality. The Illinois-Michigan Canal, or I&M, opened in 1848, providing a navigable route from Chicago to the Illinois River at LaSalle. Today, the Illinois Waterway remains a crucial transportation route, handling millions of tons of cargo annually. Also, it serves as a popular recreational destination, with boaters and anglers and outdoor enthusiasts all taking advantage of this vast expanse. However, human activities have altered the river's natural flow a bit, leading to some challenges like silt buildup and habitat loss. Conservation efforts are ongoing, with the Illinois River Basin Restoration Program working to rehabilitate habitats and improve water quality. Whether moving goods, providing recreational opportunities, or supporting environmental restoration, the Illinois Waterway is a vital part of the country's waterborne transportation system. Number 2. The Karakum Canal. In the heart of Central Asia lies one of the most remarkable feats of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan, the Karakum Canal. Covering about 135,000 square miles, or nearly 70% of Turkmenistan's land, the Karakum Desert is vast. But despite its dry nature, the Karakum Canal runs through this land like a lifeline, turning it from a waterless wasteland into a region where crops can flourish and people can thrive. Stretching 850 miles, this canal is not only one of the longest of its kind, but also one of the most ambitious projects ever undertaken in such an unforgiving environment. Construction began in 1954 during the Soviet era as a response to the critical water shortage that plagued this region. The canal diverts water from the Amu Darya River, a key water source fed by rivers in neighboring Uzbekistan, and it carries in deep into the heart of the Karakum Desert. The canal itself irrigates an expansive area of about 3,800 square miles and provides water to an additional 14,000 square miles of open land. It's brought water to the capital city of Ashgabat and various oases in the southern part of the country, and it created a network of life in a place that once had little to offer. The scope of the canal places it in the ranks of some of the world's most massive water management systems. If you were to map the Karakum Canal over the United States, it could span the entire length of Texas or cross the entire country of France and then some. But despite its remarkable size, its significance lies in the ability to transform a parched desert into a productive region. The canals made it possible for crops such as cotton, fruits, and vegetables to grow in the desert, which has brought economic prosperity to Turkmenistan. In fact, some of the desert's new towns and villages now have modern conveniences, and it's all thanks to the life-giving water delivered by the Karakum Canal. If you could follow the canal's path, you'd travel through an entirely different world, from bustling city of Ashgabat to the remote, expansive deserts of Turkmenistan. It cuts across some of the harshest environments on Earth. But it's not just about the length, it's about the stark contrast it offers. A dry, desolate land transformed by a flowing lifeline that continues to shape the region's development. Number 1. The Grand Canal of China. The Grand Canal of China stands as the longest artificial waterway in the world, stretching a staggering 1,115 miles. It is a feat of engineering, and it shaped China's history, economy, and culture for over 1,000 years. Connecting the northern and southern parts of the country, this canal once served as the primary transport route, linking key cities like Beijing and Hangzhou, and facilitating the movement of goods, especially grain, between regions. It's divided into 7 distinct sections, each playing a role in linking various rivers across the country. The Jingnan Canal, located in the southernmost part, starts from Hangzhou and passes through numerous major cities before reaching Zhenjiang. This section is vital for transporting goods like coal and construction materials. As you travel northward, the Inner Canal connects the Yangtze River with the Huai River, passing through cities like Huai'an and Yangzhou, and it offers another major route for barge traffic. Other sections like the Middle Canal, the Lu Canal, and the Southern Canal weave through provinces like Shandong and Hebei, providing crucial infrastructure for both local and national trade. For centuries, this was China's primary transportation artery, a lifeline for bulk goods like grain, coal, and even sand. It's said that during the height of its use, over 8,000 boats would carry up to 360,000 tons of grain annually. For a modern comparison, that's like shipping an annual cargo of over 3,600 fully loaded freight trains. That's an unimaginable feat, yet it was the everyday reality of the Grand Canal in China. The canal has always been a place of significance. In the 13th century, the famed explorer Marco Polo remarked upon its impressive bridges and bustling cities. Even centuries later, the canal continued to captivate travelers like Matteo Ricci, a missionary who sailed from Nanjing to Beijing in the late 1500s. Today, though, the Grand Canal still plays an important role, though its functions have evolved. Now it's only used for shipping bulk material, but also for modern water transfer projects like the South-North Water Transfer Project. That's going to help address water shortages in the northern regions of China. But from its construction to its modern-day use, the Grand Canal isn't just a waterway, it's a symbol of endurance. It's a living monument to the continuous connection of regions, cultures, and people over centuries. And despite the advancements in rail and road transportation, this ancient waterway still holds its ground as one of the world's most extraordinary feats of engineering. Thanks for watching. Click here to watch the next video on the top 15 most extreme canals in the world. Thank you to our channel members.